Alright, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be giving my MLB DraftKings picks for Tuesday, June 27th. We got a full slate today, full 15-game slate, so we have a ton of options, a ton of ways that we can look and attack this slate. I got a pretty good idea, pretty good feeling about how I'm going to attack it, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so looking at pitcher, pitcher is pretty loaded today. You have some really good options up top. There are also some pretty good value pitchers as well, some good mid-range options that I like. So definitely multiple ways you can attack your pitcher. You know, if you're a person that doesn't really like paying up for pitcher, I definitely think there are some good mid-range options today. So if you don't want to pay up, go towards those mid-range guys. Then pay up for some of your bats. But the way I'm going to be looking to pay up for one guy and then look towards the mid-range for my second or for my SP2. So my first pitcher, my SP1, I really like Luis Severino today. Just 10,100 getting a matchup against the White Sox. I definitely think this is a great matchup for Severino, and the price tag does seem a little bit too cheap. If you go off of Scherzer and go with Severino, that's a near 3K discount. Severino definitely has similar upside to Scherzer. This is a really good matchup against the White Sox. We know the White Sox are definitely a team that we can pick on versus righties. The White Sox are a pretty good team against lefties, but against righties, they're not nearly as good. If you look at their strikeout rate, they do strike out at a decent rate, striking out 10th most in the league versus righties, striking out 22.7% of the time. And if you look at the average in WOBA, like I said, they don't hit righties well. The White Sox are definitely down there versus righties. They rank 23rd in average versus righties, hitting a 247 average. WOBA also ranked towards the bottom. They rank 27th in WOBA versus righties with a 299 WOBA. So this team definitely strikes out a lot, and they don't hit righties that well either. And we know Severino is a great strikeout pitcher, and he has already faced this team once this year. Pitched 8 innings against them, allowed 3 runs, but finished with 10 strikeouts, finished with 30 DraftKings points. So Severino has already faced this team once and got the strikeouts. I could definitely see him getting double-digit Ks here. Severino, he's just a great strikeout pitcher. He's very consistent with the Ks. And this White Sox teams, they definitely strike out a lot versus righties. So I really like Luis Severino today as my SP1 at 10,100. I definitely think he is a good secondary option if you're looking to go off of Scherzer. I'm not saying Scherzer is a bad option today, but I really like the discount you're getting off of him and going with Severino. Definitely think Severino has similar upside to Scherzer, could possibly outscore him. And then for my SP2, going to be looking towards the guy under him, mid-range, sort of the upper tier of the mid-range. And I really like James Paxton today, 8,700, getting a matchup against the Phillies. This is a really good spot for Paxton. He pitches very well at home. If you look at his splits this year, he's pitched 7 games at home and has averaged 20 DraftKings points in those 7 games. And on the road, he has only averaged 15 DraftKings points. So Paxton has that going for him. And if you just look into the matchup, it is a really good matchup. Now the Phillies, they don't strike out as much against lefties as they do righties, but they do strike out, strike out still at a pretty decent rate. They rank 18th in K rate versus lefties, striking out 20.3% of the time. But if you look at average and WOBA, this team is pretty terrible against lefties. They rank 26th in average versus lefties, hitting a 233 average. And WOBA also towards the bottom of the league as well. They rank 21st in WOBA versus lefties with a 301 WOBA. So this team, they do strike out at a decent rate, and they don't hit lefties well at all. And we know Paxton is a great strikeout pitcher. So I also think he has great upside here as well. And I definitely think he is safe. If you look at the implied run total, the Phillies do have a pretty low implied run total, which is always good when you're taking a pitcher against a certain team. You want that team to have a low run total. So right now, as I'm recording this video, the Phillies are only implied to score 3.7 runs, which is definitely low. So I like James Paxton here as my SP2. Definitely think he has good upside here. I think he has close to double-digit K upside. Could definitely see him getting double-digit Ks. And I think he is very safe as well. You can definitely consider him for cash games. So I really like James Paxton today as my SP2, and I'm going to be locking him in at 8,700. When you plug in Severino and Paxton as your 2 pitchers, that still leaves you an average of 3,900 remaining per player, which can easily be worked around. Since this is a 15-game slate, there are a ton of value plays I like today. So I definitely think you're going to be able to pay up for pitcher today if you want to. Obviously, since it's a big slate, you have value, but since it is a big slate, you also have some stud hitters as well. So that's what makes these slates so fun. There are multiple ways that you can go. But like I said, I think I'm going to be paying up at pitcher today and then looking for some value bats. So my first value bat that I like is going to be at first base, and I really like Matt Carpenter today. Just 3,700, getting a matchup against Taijuan Walker. I really like this ballpark upgrade for the Cardinals. They're going to be traveling to Chase Field, one of the most hitter-friendly parks. So I love this spot for the Cardinals. Definitely think you can stack them up. Taijuan Walker, he has pretty bad home splits. His splits are pretty bad. If you look at how he's pitched at home this year and on the road, he's posted a 2.65 ERA, and at home Walker has posted a 4.56 ERA. If you look at the advanced stats as well, if you look at how he's done at home versus lefties, he will be facing Carpenter. Carpenter is a lefty. It's a small sample size. I believe he's only pitched 11 innings versus lefties at home. But in those 11 innings, he's allowed a 2.31 home run per 9. So Walker has been giving up a ton of home runs to lefties at home. So I really like Matt Carpenter today. If you look at the batted ball data, Walker does get hit pretty hard versus lefties as well. So far on the year versus lefties, he's given up a 34.9% hard contact rate, and then at home versus lefties, he's given up a 43.2% hard contact rate. So Walker really struggles at home. Since that ballpark is so hitter-friendly, I definitely think he's going to struggle today. Really like these Cardinals bats. I definitely think they are too cheap. Matt Carpenter should not be 3,700. He's been hitting the ball pretty well lately. He has kind of cooled down a little bit ever since he's moved to the leadoff spot, but he still has great power. Carpenter's already had 14 home runs this year. Walker will give up home runs, and especially in Chase Field, in that hitter-friendly park, I could see him giving up a home run to Carpenter today. So I really like Matt Carpenter today for first base value at just 3,700. Another cheap guy I like is not as cheap as Carpenter, but still I consider him value. And that's Josh Donaldson at just 4,100, getting a matchup against Kevin Gausman. This is a BVP play that I really like, but I'm not rostering Donaldson just because of BVP. It's obviously a great matchup against Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman, he's just not a good pitcher. If you look at his splits this year, Gausman actually has reverse splits. He does worse against righties. So far this year, he's given up a 4.18 WOBA to righties. He's also allowing home runs as well, posting a 1.7 home run per 9 to righties. And the hard hit rate's also been there, giving up a 34.3% hard contact rate to lefties. So this is a great spot for Donaldson. This is definitely a great stack for the Blue Jays. I do believe they have one of the highest implied team totals on this slate, so you can definitely stack up these Blue Jay bats. But like I said, with Donaldson's BVP, this is a pretty nice sample size. He's seen Kevin Gausman 21 times, and in those 21 at-bats, Donaldson has had 7 hits. One of those hits was a home run. He's batting .333 against Gausman in 21 at-bats. So it's a great matchup for Donaldson, and he has the BVP in his favor. And he's also going to be playing at home in Toronto, which is a hitter-friendly park. So I really like Josh Donaldson today. Like these Blue Jay bats. Definitely think they're one of the top stacks today. Kevin Gausman, he's just not a good pitcher. He gives up home runs, and we know this Blue Jays offense. They definitely have some power bats. Jose Bautista, Josh Donaldson, Justin Smoke. Definitely target those guys. They have a ton of power. Could definitely see them hitting a couple home runs off of Gausman. So I really like these Blue Jay bats. And I like getting some exposure to that offense with Josh Donaldson at just 4,100. And then for my final play, going to be going to the outfield. Another guy that I like that I think is too cheap, and that's Giancarlo Stanton, 4,100, getting a matchup against Robert Galesman. This is another BVP play that I like, but like I said, I'm not rostering Stanton just because of BVP. If you look at Galesman's splits this year, he's just not a good pitcher. He gives it up to lefties and righties. So far this year, he's given up a 3.15 average to righties and a 3.76 WOBA. And Galesman also will allow home runs. So far this year, he's given up a 1.99 home run per 9 to lefties and a 1.31 to righties. And if you look at the hard hit rate, he does get hit pretty hard as well, giving up a 37% hard contact rate to lefties and a 31.9% hard contact rate to righties. And we know Giancarlo Stanton has one of the most powerful bats in the game. So this is a great spot for him. Definitely could see him hitting a home run. But looking at his BVP, like I said, I do like the BVP here as well. It's a pretty small sample size, but in 7 at-bats against Galesman, Stanton has had 5 hits. One of those hits was a home run. He's batting .714 against Robert Galesman in 7 at-bats. So this is a great spot for Stanton. Definitely think he is way too cheap at 4,100. He has great home run potential here. We know Stanton has great power. He's already had 20 home runs this year. And for him to be just 4,100, you got to take advantage of that. I could see him hitting a home run here. So I really like Giancarlo Stanton today for outfield value. I would definitely consider him value at that price tag. Definitely think he is too cheap. So I really like him for outfield value. I'm going to be locking him in at 4,100. So yeah, guys, these are my 5 plays for tonight. I went with Luis Severino, James Paxton, Matt Carpenter, Josh Donaldson, and Giancarlo Stanton. When you plug these 5 guys in your lineup, it leaves you an average of over 3,800 remaining per player, which can easily be worked around, especially on this slate. There are a ton of value plays on this slate, so you can build around these 5 guys and make a lineup around these 5. Or if you want to get my full lineups, then be sure to follow me on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. Just message me on Twitter if you are interested in getting lineups. They are $5 a day, or you can get a week of lineups for $25. So be sure to message me on Twitter if you are interested in that. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed. If this is your first time on my channel, please be sure to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. I do upload these videos pretty much every day, so I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. And if you never want to miss out on any videos, if you scroll down to where the subscribe button is, there is a bell icon. If you click that bell icon, that'll notify you every time I upload. So be sure to do that as well if you never want to miss out on any videos. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.
So you're still thinking of me, just like I know you should. I cannot give you everything, you know I wish I could.